Hey, it's Jay, and today I'm going to take you through the process I use when I make my videos. You can make your video as simply as pushing record, stop, and then publishing the video to YouTube or wherever you're going to post the video. There are a lot of tutorials on how to do that come with the screen recorder or camera that you're using. Usually when people ask me what I do in the videos, they're asking because they want to include some more complex elements. So I'm going to be taking you through the entire process in a single video, and you can pick and choose those elements that you want to use. Before you watch the video, it will be helpful to have watched the video I have posted on the guidelines I use when I'm making my videos, as well as hardware and software I'm going to be putting to work. The example I'll use is how I make this particular video, so you can follow the process of making this video from start to end. What I'm going to be covering, I'm going to go through first, what is the goal of the video, and why is video the best way to put this forward, or an appropriate way to put this forward. The second thing I'm going to do is think about what visual elements are going to help support the goal that I'm trying to achieve. I'm going to write a script, and then I'm going to film myself giving the instruction live. Then I'm going to go edit the video while I create any supporting visuals that I don't have already. All right, so let's get started with the goal of the video. The goal of the video is to show you how I make a video from start to end. I think a video is a great way to communicate these ideas because it can be helpful to see the physical setup I'm using, as well as what's going on the computer screen. It can be hard to just take verbal words or written words and translate that to the different settings. So now that I have those goals, that's actually defined the visual elements that I'm going to use. I'm going to be having a video of what I'm doing, as well as a lot of screen capture, screen recordings that show you the process. I'm not going to have a lot of drawing or text to support those ideas. I'm just going to be explaining what I do while I'm showing it. So now, once I have the goal and the visuals, I'm going to write a script. Now you can see, or you can't see, I'm not reading the script. I do have the script on a computer that's over here, so I can check in to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. But the act of creating a script is help direct my thoughts on how I would like to present these ideas and in what order. Another thing that I see as soon as I have this script, the script is way too long. It's 4 pages and you can see all this extra junk. It was probably 12 pages as I was writing it because I kept trying to throw things out. So once I see that my video is going to be too long, I'm going to ask a couple things. Can I break it up into a smaller video? The answer here is no, because a primary goal is I want to go start to finish in a single video. And I know I can break this into chapters so people could skip to a particular chapter. And of course, the next thing I'm going to do is go through my script and ask, what can I leave out here? And I'm chopping out some things I'd like to show you, but I don't want to shortchange any particular step in the process, because it can make it harder for you to fill in the gaps as you're trying to replicate this process. So I've got the script, I know what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to move on to the actual filming. Before I get started on how I'm filming the live video, let me just explain why I think it's important to do this. Your presence on a video adds a lot in connecting with the audience. Yeah, I'm not going to be using this live video in a lot of the final product, but I never know when I'll need that video, and it's helpful to have it available if I want it. This is also going to help guide the visuals that I create later. So I recommend filming everything you know you're going to use live, and you can always throw it out. It's more difficult to recreate. So now I'm set up to film my video. You see I have a computer over here that has the script, and it's also set up to record audio on the external microphone. I strongly recommend using an external microphone because sound is really important with your video. I've got the camera in front. I've given a little thought to my background. I don't have tons of great backgrounds available, but I'll use the best I have. And I love going outside. Once I'm set up, I'm going to have a look at the script to give me the general order that I'm going to go through and think about what are the main points in each part of the video. And then I'm going to push go, right? So I will start the sound recording first. I actually have a remote for the camera, which is helpful, even though I can bend forward. And before I start saying anything, I use the word pop. The reason I use the word pop is to help me align the audio and video. The audio and video are never aligned, even if you use the camera for both audio and video. And you're going to want to shift that a little bit in the video editing later. The word pop is a great word. I can see the P on my lips, and it helps me align with the sound very easily. So I'll read that word, look at the camera. Sometimes I try to smile or loosen up, and then I just explain to the camera the way I'd like to explain to a classroom. It was pretty awkward for me at first, and I'm slightly less awkward now, but the more you do it, the better you'll be at it. Now I'll record the entire video, and I'm ready to head downstairs for editing. Before I get started editing the videos, I want to make sure that I have an organizational scheme on my computer that lets me find what I need. So I use a file folder for audio files, live video, screen recordings, and still images. My next step is to upload the audio files to the Adobe Audio Enhancer. Once I have all the audio files enhanced, I dump them into Camtasia. And then I'll take all the video files from my camera, dump them into Camtasia, select all the files and drag them onto the timeline. And then I'm going to begin to align the audio and video. So I create some space between the separate tracks. I'll make sure that timeline snapping is off, or at least for the media edges, while I'm trying to align the audio and video. And then I'm going to go look for that first blip that is my pop at the beginning of video. And I'm going to use that to begin the alignment. Once I have this first track done, I'm going to go through the entire timeline and align the audio and video for everything. After I've done that, I go back to the beginning of the video and I start to cut and splice the parts that I want to move together. So where I've made a mistake, I'm going to splice it out and jump to the part of the video where maybe I've corrected it. If I cut part of a single video track and audio, I'm going to make sure that I split the video track at that point. That allows me to put the transition in if I want to fade it more smoothly than just having an abrupt jump. I'm going to wind up with a finished product that is me doing the instruction all the way from start to end of the video. I might find something that I need to add later. I can ask if I need to have video of it, or maybe I can just do an audio insert. But I've already got the finished track at this point before I start creating any other visuals. Next, I'll create a series of PowerPoint slides with text headers on the left to help orient the viewer as to what I'm talking about at any given time. And I'm going to save those as an image because I'm not going to have live animation on the PowerPoint. I know that the majority of this video is going to be screen recording, so I'll go through and resize the video to fit well on this particular slide. Because the screen recordings are pretty complicated, I'm not going to have a video of myself in the upper corner very often. I want to keep the screen as simple as possible. So I'll just take the opacity of the video and move it to 0. I never actually delete the video of myself from the timeline. I always use the opacity to 0. That allows me to keep the audio and video tracks aligned through the entire timeline. Now, I don't need it for this video, but if you want to have some drawing or images that you're using to teach to go with the video you took of yourself earlier, I just record those later, and I match it to the instruction I gave on the video. This gives me the opportunity to remake it. I can adjust the clip speed so that the drawing follows the normal rate of speech that I'm using while I'm teaching. The process of editing the video and creating the visual elements is time-consuming. But you have the tools you need to create all of the audio and visual elements you'd like to include in the video. You're always going to be balancing this creation and editing process with productivity. It usually takes too long to make the video you want to make, so you just find what do you really need to accomplish what you want, and how are you going to include that? Once I've got the video assembled the way I want it, I'm going to add a title slide with royalty-free music, usually 5 seconds, and then I add a conclusion slide with the take-home points and play the same music for about 7 seconds. Then I can export my video to an MP4 file and post it where I want. And at this point, I'm done. Hopefully that was helpful.